Hello everyone, my name is XFreds and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, we're going back to the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, talking about some news made for the series. And something that I'm a little excited for. Something that I wasn't excited at first, but now it's revealed, it actually looks really good. So, if you guys didn't know this already, I'm a huge Sonic fan. Like, I usually like to stay overly positive about the Sonic franchise. I try to do all of my best to stray any negative topics when absolutely necessary. Right? Because, even though I'll express my opinions about certain things that I don't like about the franchise, when it comes to the overall quality of the franchise, I like to stay overly positive about it, mainly because I think the franchise gets a lot of things right. Even though it did get a lot of things wrong, I think the right stuff that it got right is, to be quite frank, it tends to be overlooked for a pretty unfair reason, in my opinion. But onto the main topic of the video. We're going to be talking about the Sonic Generations remaster. Now, I wasn't really a big fan of this idea, mainly because Sonic Generations, it's a great game. I still prefer the other Boost games aside from Forces, but I still think Generations is a great Sonic game, and it's definitely worth playing at least once. And I think it works really well as a modern title, and that was kind of the reason as to why I wasn't a big fan of the remaster idea, and the idea of getting Sonic Generations remastered. But they did it, so, but I can kind of understand why they're remastering Sonic Generations, because for one, it was one of the most well beloved Sonic games, and it works very well as a modern title. Which is kind of why I don't really know why they did it, but they probably did it mainly because it's a beloved Sonic game. It sold really well, and to be fair, Sonic Colors sold pretty well as well. But I think another reason why is that they're preparing themselves for future remasters like the Adventure games and Sonic Unleashed, because those are the games that are the most requested for a remake, and Sonic Heroes. I forgot to mention Sonic Heroes. Now I'll show the trailer. I'll definitely show the trailer, but before we get started, I do want to say a couple things, because it's very likely that this is going to happen. Sonic Generations is most likely going to get pulled from... It's most likely going to get pulled from the store. It's going to get pulled from Steam. It's going to get pulled from the Microsoft Store on Xbox. Mainly because of this remaster. Which is going to suck for a lot of modders for Sonic Generations, because I know Sonic Generations is one of the biggest modded Sonic games, ever. So I know a lot of people are going to be really sad that OG Generations is going to get removed from Steam. And I'm quite sad myself, but I don't really play OG Generations on PC. I only really play it on the Xbox. Because, I got Sonic Generations before I got the PC, so I obviously wouldn't rebuy it. The only games that I did rebuy from Steam were Sonic Mania and Sonic Adventure 1. And Sonic Frontiers. I forgot to say that, but Frontiers was on Switch. That's why I kind of did it, so... Yeah, about the Sonic Generations remaster, it's actually really, really cool, and I'm actually going to show you guys the trailer right now. But yeah, let's go see it. Alright guys, let's get started. It looks pretty much the same. looks amazing, doesn't it? That is so good. That's so good. Okay, so gonna rewind a little bit. By the way, this is from the PlayStation YouTube channel. Just gotta clarify that right now. But here's something I need to address actually. Captured on PS5 right here, but then it says something else after it. Great music choice, by the way, for the trailer. Thank you, thank you, Sonic team. Okay, so if you said right there, it said, like, not actual gameplay right there. So, so this was actually a very big misconception. Because I thought for myself that Sonic Generations was going to carry over the same graphics, or at least the similar style of graphics. And you could... I don't know if you guys can tell, but you guys could probably see if you took like a comparison. It does have an ever so slightly different lighting, but but the lighting is still pretty similar, and it's overall the same graphic design from Sonic Generations. So it says not actual gameplay from right there. So what that's saying is that this part, the remastered graphics for Sonic Generations, they're not in yet. So the remastered graphics are still not in yet, which means that Generations graphics will still most likely get changed, which I'm not overly mad about because, you know, even though Colors Ultimate, graphic-wise, I do think Colors Ultimate was a mixed bag. It was fine throughout most of the areas, aside from... It was fine throughout most of the acts, aside from Tropical Resort. But throughout certain acts of some places, it can look a bit off at times. So I think, in my opinion, Colors Ultimate didn't do a very good job in terms of consistency. But with Sonic Frontiers that just came out, and by the way, this remaster is being worked by Sonic Team. So Blind Squirrel is not working on Sonic X Shadow Generations. I wanna point that out. This is not by Blind Squirrel, so I think we're safe on the bloom effect regard. But if we go off the Sonic Generations base game part, we're gonna take a look at Shadow's gameplay. By the way, that CGI turnover, hold on, I gotta see it again. Like it's like your standard Sonic Generations pose right there. Like you guys seen it before. But then it just completely changed right there with Shadow. And that is crazy. Oh, also something to notice. Classic Sonic's color is actually completely different. It used to be a light blue, but I'm guessing fans prefer the dark blue color, as do myself. I don't really like the cyan color, the light blue color. It didn't really work for Classic Sonic in my opinion, but it is what it is. It's kind of a minor issue of mine. It's not a major issue, but anyways, there's Shadow. And it kind of does the whole Sonic movie 2 reference at the end credit scene where Shadow appears with the eyes glowing up. Pretty nice reference there. And then we have Final Chase or Final Rush here. They might include both levels. They might include both levels just because you know, both are pretty popular in their own way, and Shadow was in Final Chase, but Final Rush is still a more popular level. So, well, both of them I think are very popular, but obviously Final Rush is more popular, mainly because of the level design perspective. Both environments are still the same. But yeah, that's what I have to say. Honestly, this shot right here looks pretty cool. The boost aura on Shadow fits him pretty well. It kind of looks like Forces in a weird way, but not in a bad way. And then the homing attack does look a bit different. And a lot of people were a little mixed on the level design, but I think the level design could be potentially good here because, you know, there's an extra pathway right there, as you see there. So that's good. That's good right there. And then Shadow just kicked the core into somewhere, so I'm guessing that's a boss fight. And this right here either is a story sequence or a boss fight. This might be a boss fight or a story sequence, or maybe both. But Black Doom has returned, and this was the only mixed part I felt about the trailer. This was the only part where I felt kind of mixed. Mainly because I don't like Shadow the Hedgehog's game. I don't like the Shadow the Hedgehog game. I don't think it's a very good game. The controls are very clunky. The story is one of the story. Honestly, Shadow the Hedgehog's story in the 2005 game, that game has the worst story in the entire franchise, in my opinion. That story is absolutely garbage. But that's kind of why, and Black Doom is one of the main reasons behind it. So who knows, maybe Black Doom, maybe Doom's Eye, maybe Black Doom will play a better role this time around, because apparently they said that we were going to learn more about Shadow's character more than usual, which is pretty nice. Then this kind of like a Spider-Man movie reference right here. A lot of people realized it. And this part looks really cool. And I think we're back in Westopolis. And then this is Radical Highway from Sonic Adventure 2. Again, really awesome level. Really awesome pick for a level. I'm glad they picked it. And they might pick some other Sonic. They might pick some Sonic 06 levels from there, like Kingdom Valley. And then maybe Radical Train, because he was in there. I don't know. They might pull some 06 levels, because they pulled 06 levels before with Crisis City. The homing attack does look a bit weird though, because you know it looks pretty unique though, because like Shadow does use Chaos Control for his homing attack, at least from what it looks like. Although I will say the jump animation does kind of look like Sonic Frontiers, but it's not a big deal. In my opinion, this is not a big deal because, you know, animations was never really concerned with me when it comes to Sonic games. Like, now when it's like overly when it comes like overly like right in my face, when the weird animation is right up in my face, that's where I have a big issue. But considering it's not overly in your face right here, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. I will say though that the graphical design kind of looks completely different. So I think the graphics, the shading and graphics from the Shadow the Hedgehog levels, I think they're gonna port this. I think they're gonna port the shading and the lighting to the Sonic portion of Sonic Generations. It's the base version, the base game of Sonic Generations. They're gonna pull basically the lighting and graphics from the Shadow gameplay into the base game of Sonic Generations when the game comes out. So the reason why so to all of you that thought that they were gonna keep the old Generations look, I hate to break it to you, but that is unfortunately not the case. It's not likely to be the case, at least. This is really cool though. The homing attack does look really different, and I'm assuming that right there is probably a portal to somewhere. Who knows? Oh wait, no, that was the moon. Never mind. And then the Bio Lizard. The Bio Lizard takes a completely different form. It kind of reminds me of the end boss fight in the Frontiers DLC in a way. I've heard someone compare this to like freaking Sonic Omens, and like, while I can somewhat see it, they're not gonna take inspiration from Sonic Omens. Like, are you crazy, my guy? But Regardless, that ending sequence was really cool. I'm a little mixed on the title of the game though. Sonic X Shadow Generations, Sonato. I had to put it in there. Sorry, but I'm just kidding. By the way, that logo is really cool though. It's just the title itself that's a bit mixed. But yeah, it's coming autumn of 2024. The reason why I'm excited for this is because the closest thing that we've gotten to a good Sonic remaster was Sonic Colors Ultimate. And look, I'm not saying it's the greatest remaster of all time, but it got, I think Colors Ultimate got more right than the adventure game remasters, along with the well, I shouldn't say remaster, but rather ports back in the early 2000s. It got more right than SADX and SA2 Battle along with Sonic Origins. Colors Ultimate got more right as a remaster compared to those three other remasters. And considering that, this is kind of me considering that Sonic Generations, I preferred Sonic Colors over Generations mainly because, for one, it had better controls, slightly better controls, and it had a better story. It felt more natural. The controls felt more natural. I love the music more. I love the I love the harder ranking system was better too. But who knows? Maybe Generations will fix the base game's story, and maybe considering that Sonic Team is getting into harder things now, maybe the ranking system will be harder? Maybe? Probably not. But who knows? We can only hope. But yeah, it is coming on Sonic Generations is finally going to be coming out on PlayStation 4 and 5. It's also going to be coming out, it's going to be on the usual Xbox consoles along with Steam, and it's also going to come on the Nintendo Switch, which is really, really awesome. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on Sonic X Shadow Generations. I think the remaster is good. I have high hopes for this. Considering the Sonic team is the one that's working on this, well, while there might be a few bugs at launch day, like, I'm still gonna expect a few bugs at launch day, but just to let you guys know, if there happens to be bugs at launch day, don't let it ruin your experience. Just try not to let it ruin your experience. Just try your best to look at the game for what it is. Just try to ignore the bugs as best as you can, if there is any, at launch day. Well, then again, this is going to be coming at autumn of 2024, so this is going to be like after summer, which is going to be a little annoying, but yeah. I still would have preferred an adventure game remastered, like Adventure 1 and 2. I still think the developers are still planning on that. Like Mario Kishimoto and Kishimoto and Iizuka did say something about the adventure remakes. One of those two. Ooh. One of those two said something about the adventure remakes, like wanting to continue the Sonic Adventure games at some point, and meaning that, and they were also going to remaster some old Sonic titles. So they're probably gonna remaster the Sonic Adventure games after this, and then if it's possible, we could potentially get Sonic Unleashed, but probably not. I'm enthusiastic about the adventure game remakes, but I'm not. As much as I love Sonic Unleashed, it's my favorite Sonic game, I don't really see the amount of hope that I'll get a remaster. And the reason why, it's not because of its low reception. There's no way it's because of its low reception. Because I don't know how. Because if it was because of its low reception, they would have banned Sonic Lost World from Steam by now. So it's obviously not low reception. It's probably because of the files. It's probably because of the files of Sonic Unleashed they probably lost those files, maybe. Like, they lost the code. They lost the source code material for Sonic Unleashed, like the OG Hedgehog engine, which I don't really know how they're going to top. I don't think it's really possible to top Sonic Unleashed's graphics, in my opinion. I genuinely think Unleashed, graphic-wise and polish-wise, it's impossible to beat, in all honesty. And while Generations does look really good in terms of remasters, and while Generations Remaster does look really good in terms of the Shadow gameplay, I still think Sonic Unleashed still takes the win for best graphics in my opinion, but Frontiers along with this does come close. I also like this. I also really like the cinematics. I really do enjoy the cinematics. It's about the Shadow cutscene, the Shadow like gameplay and cutscenes. The boss fights were my favorite part about this trailer. And honestly, boss fights aside from the final bosses, like Superstars kind of screwed up in terms of the boss fights, but that was mainly because it was a classic Sonic game, so I wasn't really expecting much from I wasn't expecting much of a boss fight from the classic Sonic games anyway for Superstars. But for this one, the bosses look really cool. So I think, for me, I think it has a big chance of succeeding, but I'm still a smidge bit skeptical, mainly because, again, like Blind Squirrel did so Sonic Team has suffered, like Sonic Team did bring us some buggy games in the past, but let's not look at that because if bugs do end up happening, they're gonna try their best to resolve it because that's what they mostly do. That's what they do for most of the time. But yeah, that's kind of what I have to say for Sonic Generations, Sonic X Shadow Generations. It's a really good trailer right here, and I hope we get more information about this as the year goes on, because this is the thing that we're going to be looking forward to keep us like hyped up while waiting for Sonic Movie 3. Which, by the way, the news for Sonic Movie 3 looks really good so far. Just need to point that out. But anyways, I'm X-Freds. This is me signing off, and let me know your thoughts on the Sonic X Shadow Generations remaster. See you guys later. Goodbye!